Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. Listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you. If you were playing, won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it, boo. See, I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor, and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet, and I need some seconds. You say you have promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be a lie if I say I did it. That shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place. This nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes. This one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. Listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you. If you were playing, won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Lady, you so far ahead of these others, just like a ship on the horizon. Picking up on your vibe, signal stronger than Verizon. All the thoughts that I've been contemplating, ain't no time for faking or debating. You the one, ain't no mistaking. Look, I see you swag different. Always carry yourself like you ready, you know the mission. I had to know you, I'm 10, I can see why you timid. Hold up now, baby, listen. Just take that dance with me, I can show you that there's a difference. I'm locked in. I throw away my play ways because you pop in. A shooter always shoot a shot. With you by my side, I guarantee we'll reach the top. I put that on God and then I give you all that I got. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. Listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you. If you were playing, won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me.
All right, all right, all right. What is up, everybody in the chat? It's your boy Ham Solo 05 Gaming with my special guest today, Kai Bird from the Talk Story podcast, a group of dope ass Hawaiians. That's the way I like to call it.
I love the description. That's great.
Oh yeah. And you know I gotta have that voice mod button for y'all. I mean, I got it. I legit got this specific button just because. I always got some Hawaiians in my chat. Always.
Yeah.
So I hit him with that nerdy.
Mahalo!
And everybody just they love it because that's the button right
I just
there.
heard that the other day too.
Oh, absolutely.
Mahalo!
It's great. It sounds fantastic, doesn't it? But anyways, Kai Bergs, thank you so much for being here. You guys in the chat, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you enjoy this type of content where I just talk to different creators, gamers, soon to be, developers and marketers within different platforms. But anyways, moving on. Thanks, you guys, for showing up for sure. Let's get this dang thing rolling. So the first question that I got that I ask everybody when they first get on here is, what gaming and social media platforms are you on? So people could either check you out, hit you up to game or whatever. go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you.
You can find me on top of Twitch at Kai_Bergs, KY_BURGS. And it's the same for Twitch, Instagram. The only thing that's different is my Twitter. There's an extra S because somebody already took my name. So
Ain't that something?
ain't that something? I was like, how dare?
Well, I
But yeah,
just thought your name was like, different enough that it might not happen. So like I had to double
right.
back a couple times. I was like, did I put Kai Berg's name in here right? I think it's only one S. And
I know.
then
I was like, how? What?
I was like, ain't no
So,
way
yeah.
somebody else got that same name, but sure enough,
Sure
somebody else does. But anyways, fantastic. What are you currently playing as of right now? Do you always play the same game, or do you play different ones? Because every time I pop into your Twitch stream, Fortnite, and it's you, Fortnite, and giggles just for hours.
Oh man. Yeah, obviously I play Fortnite. That's the main game, but we also as a squad play Knockout City. It's a game that we were playing for a while. I tried to play Apex. I was horrible at it. Never could get really into it. I downloaded COD and then I quit COD. I didn't even like open it up because I was that scared to play it by myself.
Wow. You scared to play a video game.
Yeah. I heard all my friends were like, "Yeah, download it," and I was like, "Okay." I downloaded it. I was like, "What do I do next? I'm not gonna play it." Like, but then, so I got those ones, and we used to play Splitgate. Was a good game we played.
Okay.
Gang Beast. We played with the squad. That was so funny, just the way that they move.
Oh yeah.
And right now, Speedy and I are doing It Takes Two, and we just got Fall Guys, so we're starting to play that a lot because it's open to all, right? Cross-platform. So
Fall Guys is a lot of fun. I can only play that game for like an hour though before I'm just like, all right, I'm checking out. But like when you initially get into it, just that rush of having like a ton of other people that you're playing against, and then you got your own squad out there with you, and it's hilarious because they're the physics of your body are just ridiculous. Like you're running and your head's like falling backwards, it looks like, and you just get obliterated by things, and it's just like a little kid. They just get right back up and just keep trying to run. They look ridiculous, but it's absolutely it's a good time if you have a few people to play with. 100%.
That's like the only game Speed Angel rages to.
He rages to that.
He rages to it. You gotta listen. It's so funny. It's so funny.
All right, so I did want to shout out one of the people, or actually, I want to go ahead and shout out the whole dang, the whole dang chat. I appreciate you guys for being here. Of course, we got our Hawaiians up in here as usual. We got two big blind giants. Stank Ma's up in the chat. I want to shout out my a new buddy of mine that I just recently started talking to. His name's John. I didn't know how to say his last name because I just met him not that long ago, but I'm guessing it's Catone. I don't know. Let me know if I'm right or wrong in the chat. I don't know. I'm really good at chopping up names. Really freaking good at it. But so we were talking just previously before we got into this live podcast. We were talking in the green room, if you want to call it that. I had asked you, what was the first console that you had? And you told me it was the PlayStation 2, if I'm correct. Is that right, or was it the OG PlayStation?
It was the OG PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was like the first ever that we I think one of the first. I do remember that we had the Nintendo though with the card stock we had to put in. Because I remember every time my brother would make us do the just to get the dust
I
out.
love it.
If you know,
You sitting there playing a harmonica. Looks like you're eating
you never
a
gotta
sandwich
do
super
it.
fast.
You had to get that dust out just so you could get that game on. But
Facts.
the Nintendo was the first, and then the PlayStation was like the upgrade where it's like, ooh, the CD,
Oh yeah.
I know we don't have to do nothing for that, but then you got to do the wiping off to get the scratches. So
just create more scratches, but we didn't know any better.
It really did.
So tell me a little bit about your experience with that, other than cleaning off discs. What were you actually playing on that console?
We used to play I think it was Donkey Kong. They had Donkey Kong for that, right?
No.
It was so long ago. Whatever was inside of the game, I would just play it. At that age, I was like, I don't know what I'm playing.
Fair enough, Kai. I can totally tell. You nailed it. You said Donkey Kong. Oh wait, we're talking about cartridges. You're talking about your cartridge games first, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I thought you were talking about the PlayStation. I was like, hell no.
No, the cartridge games. We had that, and then we upgraded from the Nintendo to the Game Boy Color. You were cool if you had the color, right? Not the black and white. So we upgraded.
John in the chat said you were talking about Game Boys.
Yeah. Those two. We had that.
Fantastic. So you were a handheld gamer first before you even got into consoles and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Dang, that's kind of amazing how that happened. The last person I believe I had on the show said that their first console was a Game Gear. So I'm just like, it's hella interesting for me to hear that there are so many people that started gaming on a handheld gaming console instead of a TV one, because I would have thought everybody started out with the TV first, but I guess that's just not the case.
No, we had a store down the road that back in the day, right, we didn't have much, so we would get the hand-me-downs at this store that had a bunch of old games, kind of like a GameStop, but a little more ghettoer.
Yeah, just like a retro game store that took in games and then resold them.
That's where we got our first handheld, and then we moved into getting the PlayStation and all the other stuff. So it was pretty fun.
Definitely. So what was it like when you got that PlayStation then? Because you said, and I remember those times, the disc, it was just so cool to finally have something with a disc on it, because we were, the only thing we used disc for back in the day was just to listen to music. So to have something that played video games on a disc, it felt extremely high quality. It
back
really
then.
did. Yes, it did.
Definitely.
Yeah. Now it's like, get that disc out of here.
Yeah.
Right. Everything's digital, or at least accessible in a digital form. Now discs are more or less for those that collect or flat out don't trust digital content. Tell me about some of the games, if you have any that you remember from that time period on the PlayStation.
We used to play Tomb Raider, the old version.
Oh yeah, the pyramid titty ones.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
The one where the water looked like cubes as well, as every time she would dive. We used to play Spyro. My dad likes playing Spyro, or Papa the Rapper.
Parappa the Rapper. I remember that one. Yes. Yes, the quick button game where you gotta do the dances and he raps. Oh yeah, it was terrible.
Oh.
It was a fun game, but that game was just it looked like a bunch of paper figures moving around and grooving. You talked to some dude that had an onion head or something like that going on.
And he used to always do the whole kick, punch.
Yeah. That shit was corny as hell. But it was fun, and that was the reason behind it. Especially that game was on a demo disc. That's how I played it. Was through a
Yeah,
demo disc
me
with like
too.
yeah, with like Siphon Filter and a bunch of other games on that demo. Yeah, that was the only way I actually had that game, was just through a demo. So I guess I didn't really ever have it. But continuing on, so like after you got done experiencing the PlayStation, you know, playing all those games and whatnot that you had the access to,
Mhm.
did you? Oh, Stank Moss said the slander for Parappa. Okay, moving on. But but what other consoles did you end up getting, or did you take like, or did you have like a lull within gaming, or did you continue to play games after the PlayStation 1 fairly immediately?
Um, my brothers were always into gaming, so we always had like the next, not like right when it came out, but like the next PlayStation after that. So I never used to like. I only played when they would let me play, really.
Oh, okay, I see
But
how it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Y'all was fighting.
but we definitely used to have like, you know, PlayStation 1 to 2 to 3. I think we stayed on PlayStation 2 for a while. But
I
I was
think
always
everybody
on
did.
PlayStation. Yeah, I was always on PlayStation. And that's kind of where I was. I mean, other than like going on top of the computer back then and playing like those old school games on the computer. But I think that answers your question. I'm not sure if that answers your
Yeah,
question.
yeah, 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 yeah. That does perfectly fine. And I'm
Yeah.
just kind of wondering, since you answered that the way that you did, I'm kind of curious, like, what really even got you into gaming in the first place? Like, was it
First
specifically
place.
your brothers, just watching your brothers doing it and being curious?
Um, yeah and no. I saw my brothers always playing and they would bring home new games. But I think like seeing the game like Super Mario, seeing the game, I wanted to play it. And since then, like I would just put a disc in and try it out, you know, try out whatever game it was. I didn't know what I was doing back then. It was all buttons to me. But I think there was always a gaming console or handheld that I always had growing up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Especially like when the DSs came out, the old DS,
Yeah.
back when I was like in elementary, I think, or something like that. Always having a game to play. And it wasn't like a all the time type of thing, but it was like a whenever I could, I'd be on a game.
Would you say you play more games now than you did when you were younger?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
She's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Duh."
The lifestyle now. What do you mean?
That's the life. That's how it goes right now. But so how young would you say you remember being when you first like recollect playing games?
I want to say I was in the fourth or fifth grade,
Oh wow.
as
So you
far as I
weren't
can
crazy
remember.
young. You weren't crazy young, but you were.
No, I would. I think my parents tried to keep us away from it as far as we could. But when my brother started getting into it, because they were in like middle school at that time, we started getting into it a lot.
Gotcha. I feel that. So what? So what would you classify yourself as a gamer? I mean, I'm sure you play whatever. You don't really
Mhm.
care. But like at the end of the day, like what would you say would be like the main platform that you're on? Is it PC, Xbox, PlayStation?
Currently, right now, I'm on Xbox. I
I mean, I
do have
knew
a
that, but I was just
PC.
asking for everybody else.
I do have a PC that I haven't set up yet, just because personal reasons. I'm like, I don't. I wanted to have a second screen to put in my room and set it all up and redo it all. So I have it, but it hasn't been set up. But I did get into Xbox maybe just a year ago. I switched over and it was like this big, like, oh my god, she's going from PS4, PS5 to an Xbox. And I'm like, I had to do the switch.
What brought on that switch? Was it just like the accessibility of it? Was it where your friends were? What brought that on? Because I'm not a person that's going to say, "Oh, you're crazy for choosing that," or "crazy for choosing that." Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like gaming is more or less like, you know, where you're at in your life and what is and what you kind of value at the moment. So like right now, I seriously value being able to stay connected with my people,
Yeah.
and I know I can do that because I've had a long-standing group of friends through Xbox. So just let me know how you kind of found your way, you know,
Yeah.
into the Xbox community, I guess.
For me, it was a lot of my friends had Xbox, kind of the same. Like they all wanted to communicate through the Xbox. Um, so yeah, and the Game Pass. They were hyping me up about, oh, you could get the Game Pass. There's a lot of, free games you could get and download with it. Uh, so I had to like switch over. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it for my birthday. Just buy a new Xbox.
So you said that was like a year ago, right?
Hmm.
Because your birthday just came back around, so it's like an anniversary for you.
We just had an anniversary stream. Yeah, like 2 weeks ago. So it was like a good memory because I only got into gaming heavily a year ago, and it's like what had happened in a year from now. I'm like, oh my god, too crazy.
Oh man, Sensei 808's coming in like a mad dad. All he said was chair question mark. I shouldn't have said that while you were drinking because you about to spit that shit out.
You know, y'all really hating on this chair.
I think they want you to display it, show it off.
I'm gonna.
You know,
I,
graze it like you're a Price is Right woman. You know, just going ahead and give it a once over, a good clean.
So we had the anniversary stream, and I legit they popped in and was like, I titled it specifically "Happy Anniversary Birthday Stream," whatever. We're showing the chair. Like shout out to the podcast. We're showing the chair. And like as soon as that popped up, I had Too Big pop in and was like, chair? And I was like, so I brought the chair out and I was like displaying it super Vanna White, just like had it out, flipped it over, showed them the underneath. I was like, you
Oh
guys
my
are
goodness! What you working at Furniture Row?
I know. Like I was trying to upsell it to somebody. Like I mean, it's here.
The lumbar support is magnificent.
It really grips your butt, real well. Got that nice groove in there.
It's like a tight squeeze, right? All right. We better move on because I think I'm starting to become a little out of pocket. But so you told me a little bit about like how you grew up with gaming and whatnot. We kind of left off with you saying that you were you switched over to Xbox. Do you play on PC as well, or do you just use that to like stream and stuff like that?
Not yet. So I haven't set it up yet. So like I'm strictly streaming off my Xbox right now.
Oh,
and
so
I
you got
kind
the
of
camera connected to the Xbox and everything.
I do.
Ooh, you're one of the few people I know that do that. I don't
Really?
know I literally don't know anybody personally that does their streaming with a camera via Xbox. So more props to you. I had no idea. I personally thought this whole time you were using PC to do it, but you're saying you don't even have that set up yet.
No, yeah. When I first started streaming ever, I didn't even have an Xbox. I had a Switch. So I hooked my Switch up to my TV. I bought a camera and I hooked my camera up to my laptop and was like, did it such a complicated way. And the first ever stream, I couldn't even hook my game up because I didn't know how to do it. So people were just watching me while I was playing and you couldn't even see the game. They were just looking at me while I'm playing the game. So that was my first ever stream.
That's interesting. And
it was like just chatting, right?
Rel in the chat, he said, "I don't know what I walked into, bro. I don't know either. I'm still trying to figure out what direction we're really going right now. But All I know is we're having a good ass time. The chat's pretty live. You guys are really dope. I appreciate you guys all for coming out. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of goofy ass content that I like to put out. And shout out to John Caton. I just met this fool just recently. Really dope guy. He's on Twitter as well. Make sure you throw him a follow. I definitely like to shout out as many people as I can. I really kind of like the community that I'm building throughout this throughout this channel. A lot of people, and if you guys are keeping up with the chat at all, good vibes, and I really appreciate that. That's what I'm all about. I should be the only one talking shit, right? No, I'm just kidding. Y'all can talk as much shit as you want. I don't really give a fuck. But anyways, moving on. So what kind of is so important to you about gaming?
For me, I think it's definitely the community that comes with it. Building the community. Are you talking about like the actual game, or are you talking about like
Just in general?
in general? Yeah, I mean the community. I think there's a lot of people that we've played with, some randos in a couple games that have kind of become friends, and it's kind of like interesting to see. Just like there's some people where, you know, you hop in randomly and you get like the ragers or the people that like just mainly talk shit to you, but then you have like those one group where like they're super nice and super chill. And I think like building a community through just the Xbox platform, for me personally, was a different thing to have like people messaging you and things like that. Like I said, I've never played on console where like people could message. I never utilized any of those like things when I was playing on top of the PlayStation. So definitely community and the vibes from the community.
Gotcha. That's what's up. And you found a really dope, pretty much family, if I should call it, to be part of with the Talk Story crew. I mean, all those guys, Bango, Blind, you know, Speedy. I mean, all those guys. I mean, there's like what, like 10 of y'all or something like that. Y'all are a legit family, like wild. So I think that is fantastic. Rel had a question in the chat that I want to go on ahead and get off before we move any further. He was kind of curious what camera that you're using when you're streaming on the Xbox.
I use the Logitech, the HD 1080p. I think. Hold on, let me see. Let me show you this one. You know.
Okay.
It's just the standard, and then it has a cover. It's cute.
That's kind of cool. The cover is kind of nice.
It is very much.
Because sometimes you just ain't ready, right?
I need my privacy. I need my chair to be hidden. When I gotta get up, I gotta hide my chair.
Got some hitters out for the chair.
But yeah, I use a Logitech 1080p.
If you don't mind answering the question, how much did that camera cost?
I want to say, I can't remember completely. I want to say anywhere between 70 to 100. I don't think it was over $100. I don't remember if I got it a long time ago.
Sensei over here slander, and he said ghetto setups.
You know what, Sensei? You can pay for my setup then, Sensei.
Right? Right? Yeah. Go ahead and donate something, Sensei. Go ahead and donate.
Yeah. Contribute if that's the case.
You over here smashing on her. He did say he was just playing around. Of course he's just playing around. He's always playing around. Yeah. That's what he does. All right. So, John in the chat said chairwoman for the win.
You know, I came on here. People are gonna know me as that, the chairwoman.
I might as well just go ahead and change the title right now. Chairwoman Kai. All right, gotcha. So now we've kind of covered the gaming portion. I want to know what drove you to get into content creating, because that's a big step to take, especially when you're like new to a platform and stuff like that. you had your year anniversary of just playing on Xbox just recently. So what made you like want to hop into, providing, Twitch streams? And then also, after you answer that question, I want you to tell me how you met the Talk Story crew. I'm sure that's going to be interesting.
Oh yeah. I got into content creating for Twitch a year ago through a friend of mine. He was actually starting off. He just got affiliated when I started first gaming. He's a good friend of mine. And we played games together. And every time he asked me to be a mod in his chat. I knew nothing about Twitch at the time. I didn't even know. Like, I've heard about it from people, but I was like, I don't know what to do, what it's about. And after maybe like a couple months of being his mod and like, checking it out, I liked the community that was like surrounding. Just like, not only do people get to enjoy watching you play games, but you get to meet people from all over like the world basically. So I kind of got into it because I was like, or he kind of encouraged me to get into it because we were gaming. He was like, it'd be fun. Not only do you meet new people, but you could get paid for gaming, like people watching. And it's not just gaming, but like there's other categories that you could do as well. So I was like, okay, well, we'll try it. I wasn't really a big extrovert, so I was like, people watching me on the camera, that might be a little weird, but I mean, we're gonna go with it. And so I jumped right into it. And as soon as I got into it and people started like chatting with me, it was such a different experience because I got to meet so many different people. And just the community that started building off of that was crazy, that you could like get to know somebody who's like around the world, Alaska or like in Germany or something, and they're over here watching you. Out of all the people on top of Twitch, they want to watch you and hang out with you. So I think it was just the community and the vibes that were brought that really encouraged me to continue doing Twitch and wanting to like build a family. And I had one person who came in the chat and really like, after building this friendship with them through chatting with them, like got kind of deep into some like real life stuff. And it was kind of different because for me, I enjoy like talking to people. I enjoy, like, my degree in school was to go into counseling. So like hearing that person like unload on me, I was like, dang, like this platform is like, you can help people who are feeling a certain way in the end of the day, and they come on here to kind of unwind. And it's like, to be there for them and make a difference in some small way just by talking to them was super, super encouraging for me. As well as like, hey, gaming is fun. You can watch me game, but my whole thing on my stream is like, I love the small community. Like, I would rather have a small amount of followers that are like super close to me than to like be this big time person where like the chat's going super, super popping off, That'd be great, but also like getting to know each and every single one of the followers is like another thing that's like, wow,
Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, I look at my chat right now, and I'm really getting to know each person that shows up each week, and it's fantastic because I get to hear their views. I even get to have the idea of bringing them onto the podcast as well, just kind of spit their bars and say what they got to say. But it's just amazing to hear how similar we are, but how different we are at the exact same time, and being able to connect upon that, and make the community even bigger. I mean, your personal community or the gaming community in general. So I think it's fantastic. Very good answer. Very good answer. I like it. You speak like you've been on a podcast before. You're so comfortable, just relaxed. All right, so of all the generation of games that you played, so you said you started out with like the Game Boys and the original PlayStation and stuff like that. Now that you're kind of deeper into gaming as an adult, is there any generation that you wish you could go back to, as far as you can remember? And you don't have to list like the name of the generation, just say like the console. So like, is there any console that you wish you can kind of go back and just screw around with and just kind of have free reign to do whatever?
I mean, there's a lot of things I wish I could have done, like kept all my consoles instead
Facts.
of just like sell them out, you know?
Yes.
So like I see videos of people who like either they went and got it from like, you know, people that are selling it off the eBay and stuff like that now, or they just still have their consoles and they're still playing it. Their old consoles, and I'm like, dang, the nostalgic feeling, you know, to have to go back on a PlayStation, the very first PlayStation, and play the games you would play. But I think I would go back to, we had that. We were talking in the green room. We had this one game. It was like a duck hunting game. It was a part of Super Mario or one of the Mario series, where it was like kind of like a side game, and you could hook up, you could plug in this gun as a controller, and it's just ducks flying around, and you just shoot the ducks. Like, I don't know if that sounds weird, but
Are you talking about on the original Nintendo?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about just Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, not that game, like just Nintendo in general.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like,
yeah.
So you'd like to go back and just get retro nasty with
Oh,
that
yeah.
Nintendo.
Why you say it like that though?
I don't know. It just felt right. It just is what it is. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Anyways, but the only thing I definitely want to skip out on, because I bought a NES way back in the day, and then recently I went back and got another one because I was like, man, I really missed some of those games on the NES. I wouldn't mind getting down. And then I pushed the game in, pushed it down, you know, like you're supposed to, and I turned it on, and I was like, oh, here we fucking go. You know, the game didn't work, and you don't even think about that until after you turn it on, and you're like, son of a bitch, and you just have to end up blowing it over and over, checking, wondering what's going on with your with like the chip reader in it. Is it
Why
still
isn't it
working?
working?
Yeah. Yeah, and I was like, man, I just dropped $50 on this bullshit. I was mad as hell. It took me like a half. Oh, hold on, sweetie. Oh, man, I got my daughter running in here with no shirt on. Not right now, sweetie. Oh my goodness. Oh, get you some of that fruit here. Oh, it is heavy. Oh my goodness. This little girl walking around with a cantaloupe.
What you teaching her? She doing deadlifts?
I guess, you know. I mean, I've been having her deliver me my water since she was able to walk, just because I wanted to get her tough. I wanted to get her tough, and I also wanted to get her used to hooking her daddy up. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, moving forward. So yeah, the BS with the Nintendo. Oh my goodness, I honestly think I should just get one of those like retro consoles that like have like the Nintendo ports and everything like that. Some of them are combinations that have like a SNES and a NES hooked onto it. So I'm thinking about going ahead and doing that, and then just kind of putting my NES out for like show or something like that. And it's like, yeah, you can look at it, but don't turn that shit on.
Don't turn it
Oh,
all you're gonna
man.
get is disappointment. All you're gonna get is disappointment.
Facts, absolutely. So throughout all of your timing in gaming, as a child all the way to now, you can choose anything you want to. I want you to tell me the most memorable moment that you got to live out and enjoy throughout gaming.
Most memorable moment.
I think. Okay, go ahead. My bad.
No, you're good. I think it's just throughout, like growing up with games. I liked how, for my household, it brought us together as like siblings. Like, whether it didn't matter who was playing the game. I think it was just enjoyable, even whether you're playing or watching. I think if that makes sense, like being able to back then you didn't have like raging, you know, or at least for us, it wasn't necessarily like raging over like you dying.
I've been raging ever since I can remember. I don't know. I've been pissed off at
For
gaming
me-
ever since I started loving it.
For me, I didn't experience gaming until recently, like literally when I started playing again. But like back then, it was like, I die, okay, then it's your sibling's next turn, you know? Like that's how it was back then. If you die, the next person gets to play. So like the community, as far as like in my own household, that it brought, just gaming in general. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. Community is like the main word I've been using this whole podcast. So like I'm sticking with it. I'm just gonna stick with it.
So that is what she adores about it, is community. All right, so now I ask everybody the same thing as well. I mean, half of these fucking questions I ask everybody. But straight up, I want to know like a genre of games. And you can give me a few if you have a few. A genre of games that you just do not like and probably won't like no matter how many iterations that they have of it.
I'm not really a fan of like RTS, like real-time strategy games. I like puzzlers, but not in gaming. I don't think. It depends, I guess. Like puzzler games or role-playing games.
What?
I wouldn't say RPGs are like my least favorite.
Where's the hang up button?
Wait. Hear me out. I know everybody's gonna be like, what? Click, unfollow. I wouldn't say it's the worst. It's just when I get if I have a long day, I'll play. It's a good RPG game to like unwind with, you know. But like, is that something that I would like first go to? I'm going straight to shooter games, like, you know what I mean?
You're killing me though. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie.
Killjoy.
Like I'm hurting right now from that. I didn't see it come. I didn't even hear the last like 3 sentences you said because I was still processing the whole hatred for RPG. Like, you're like, hear me out, and I tuned you out, like you were gone.
It's that one game that Sensei and Speedy, you guys were all playing that game, and we were talking about it in the last podcast, and I was like, they're like, you gotta get into it.
Somebody, was it Monster Hunter?
Huh?
Was it Monster Hunter?
No, not Monster Hunter.
Ooh.
I can't remember what it was. It was like the hottest game that we were talking about the last podcast. Elden Ring. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But at first, when we were talking about it in the podcast, I was like, I don't know if I'd be able to get into that game, you know? But again, I watched a stream of Speedy playing with the guys. And I was like, oh, if I have people I'm playing with together and we're all doing it, yeah, I'm totally down to play it. Because it's so fun. But if me, personally, I'm playing solo, I don't enjoy it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't like role-playing games, but if I'm doing it by myself, it's not as enjoyable as if I'm doing it with, like, people that are, like, showing me, like, have played it before. Does that make sense?
No, that 100% makes sense. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially something like Elden Ring, that's pretty tough. Like, especially if you're not into that, genre of like RPGs. I mean, Elden Ring is an RPG Souls-like game. It's very unforgiving. I wouldn't be surprised if like, I mean, there's people that bought that game that thought it was going to be like the end-all be-all to games to them, and then they ended up returning it the next day because they didn't realize how hard that game actually is. But but you definitely got some haters in the chat right now. Sensei 808 said cancel Kai Bergs.
It's not that I
Um,
don't like it.
Rel said she tripping. Too Big had a fantastic idea in the chat. He says, try out Fable, Kai. I promise
Fable.
it's dope. And yes, I have to agree with him. I'm working on the third Fable. I ran through 1 and 2, but that game is I don't want to say it's like crazy easy, because there is some parts where it's kind of frustrating and annoying. But I feel like if a game doesn't push you at all, then it's not really fun in the long run. It's kind of like Fall Guys, and it's kind of like just fun for a little bit and then you get out. But for Fable, it's like an RPG that's really interesting, because of your powers, also because of the way that you can set up the story, the RPG elements of, you go down this route, you end up, with this kind of situation, and the way you talk to the community, you could be an asshole if you want to, like I like to. You can be like a really nice person and everybody loves you and stuff like that. You kind of have this like fame element to the game, where like you're like famous within the community of being dope or a loser, a dick, like you can do all kind of things. And I feel like that's a great entryway into RPGs if you don't really like them that much. But here I am pitching something that you said that you don't really like that much. So it is what it is. Play it, try it out if you'd like it.
Listen. I love role playing games. Not like.
Oh, here she is turning. She's turning.
Hold on. I'm a fan of like playing in person, like Dungeons and Dragons. I'm a hard fan of playing Dungeons and Dragons, like getting into it. On a game, maybe rephrasing it, not that I don't like it, but I haven't found a game that I like in an RPG. Does that make sense? Better sense? Like,
Yeah.
I've seen people play it, and like I said, it's funnier when it's with other people and it's not by myself. If it's by myself, I'm like, I can't really get into it that much.
Oh man, I don't know what the hell Sensei talking about. He said rotten feet for life. Like, what the hell are you talking about, dog? That must be one of the names that you can pick in Fable, because I ended up just choosing and having the default name, and when you're like in this like arena doing this event, they continuously say your like name over and like go. And my name was Chicken Chaser, so they'd always be like, go Chicken Chaser. It felt silly as hell.
It must be rocking feet.
Man, I was suited and booted, looking tough, flexing on people, and I had somebody in the background screaming, go Chicken Chaser. It just didn't look the part. It did not look the part, but I ran with it anyways. It was all good. It was really fun game. But yeah, Dragonheart Yobi, of course, he's gonna say play Mass Effect. I don't know. If you're not big into RPGs, Mass Effect, at least the original one, can be kind of frustrating. I almost say if you're not an RPG fan, hop straight into Mass Effect 2, just because it's a little bit more easy to kind of understand the controls and what you do and whatnot. It kind of holds your hand a little bit better than Mass Effect 1 does. But I'm not going to say Mass Effect 1 isn't fantastic, because it is. It's a really good game. It's just, I think 2 was made a little bit better, especially for those that are new to that kind of genre. But anyways, moving on. So you named the types of games that you refuse or don't really like playing, even though we just spent like 10 minutes advertising it to you and telling you that you need to do it. Let's move on to the best 3 games for you, just in general. It doesn't have to be of the last year or whatnot. I want to know, of all time for Kai Bergs, what is the top 3 games?
Top 3 games. I want to say, for me, Mario, Super Mario would be one.
On which console?
On the Nintendo.
Like NES or SNES?
NES.
Okay, so the original side scroller.
Yeah.
Dope. Okay.
I did like playing SSX Tricky, the old one, the old version of PS2. That was like my go-to game that I loved playing. And the last one would be Tomb Raider. I like Tomb Raider.
Do you really? Do you have you played any of the newer Tomb Raiders at all?
No, because I want to keep my vision on the cone, on the cone boobies. Man.
You like them volcano tits? Them volcano boobies?
Yeah.
Them pyramids.
Them pyramids. But yeah, I did see people posting about the newer version versus the old version, and I was like, I mean, yeah, but if you live through the old version, you get to appreciate the newer version.
Hey, that's a fact. That's a fact. I have played more of the older version than I have the newer one. The newer one's pretty dope and whatnot, but it, I don't know, something about the new one just doesn't strike the same way as the old one did, even though the old one's gameplay is way worse.
Yeah.
Than the new one. It just something about those cone titties and the and the braid coming out the back, and you know, her jumping with the dual pistols everywhere. I mean, that like jump. I mean, she had some ups.
It's like when you have a movie, right? This series, the next one after, isn't as great. Sometimes isn't as great as the original movie. Like, original movie can always be better.
Hey, that's true. So I'm kind of curious. What you would pick through this question. Do you have a studio that you follow, or like a publisher or something like that you know when they produce a game that you kind of want to try it, or you know you're kind of on board?
Not really. I mean, like I said, I'm like fairly new to what is it? Gamer talk, you know? Gamer talking.
Gamer talk. So, I love the air quotes.
Gamer talk. I only like when we had our first podcast for the Talk Story podcast, everything was gibberish to me. I was just there to smile and yeah. I'm the girl on the team. Yes, hi.
So on that show at first you were the woman on Price is Right, just kind of like, here's your new car. You know,
and I'm fine with that. I'm just there to roast Speed Angel and to have a good time. You know,
that's fantastic. But now you're seasoned into it a little bit. I'm sure you have a little bit more to say compared to when you first started, because I know when you first start podcasts and stuff like that, it's nerve-wracking. You don't know what to say. Mm-hmm. You don't know what to expect from the people watching. And then eventually you just kind of get cold and you just don't give a damn about what people are thinking anymore. And you just kind of fly off the wheel sometimes. And sometimes you actually have to, all right, maybe I'm talking about myself. I don't know. But okay, so that question, the answer to that question is you just don't give a damn. Got it.
No. No, not really.
but let's back up, because you reminded me that we skipped out on one of the on the multi-question part that I had for you. Tell me a little bit specific, or did we answer? Did you answer how you met up with Talk Story?
No.
yeah, go on ahead and do that, because I felt like I would have remembered that if you told me.
I got hooked up with Talk Story podcast through Speed Angel 808. But I also knew Bango Mango outside of Talk Story and gaming, through friends in church. So like, I saw him have a podcast, and Speed Angel was like, "Oh hey, you should just like come check out this podcast and come watch. You know, we could always use some viewers," and like, you know, trying to hype it up. So I was like, "Oh, okay, what is it about?" And he was like, "Oh, we just talk about games." So like I hopped in the first time and I was like the hype woman, you know, of like the guys. I was like, yeah, you know, causing trouble in the chat and whatnot, kind of like how Sensei guys are doing. So it was great. Um, and then
You hear that, Sensei? The slander.
Bango Mango was like, oh yeah, we gotta get Kai up on the podcast. Like, so for a while it was like we were talking about it, and then he reached out and he was like, we're having our first podcast, or our next podcast. You should come check it out. And I was like, okay, who's gonna be there? And I'm thinking like Bango Mango and freaking Speed Angel. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then Draco, and I was like, okay, sure, I'll hop on. So I hop on, and then all of you guys were like all in your own screens, and I was like, okay, this is who's on here? Who got on here? He's like, oh, by the way, we have like 2 other new people that we're gonna have. Like, come on. And I was like, right. So he's like, I shout out the questions to everybody, like what, just to kind of like what we're gonna be talking about. And I was like, dude, I don't know any of Elden Ring. What the heck is Elden Ring? They start going into like Twitter. I'm like, I don't even go on Twitter. I literally just downloaded it right after that podcast and was like, okay, I don't know how to work this. I don't know how to do it. But they added me into their Discord, the Hui Discord, and that's kind of where we all kind of came closer together. And now I consider them like straight brothers. They're always there for me, and I try to always be there for them in supporting them in their streams and vice versa. Like, all about family and, you know, word of the stream community.
Community, got it.
Community.
All right, so out of like the last few showcases, did you watch any of the showcases, or did you have any care for any of them at all?
I did. I was watching some of them. I thought it was pretty interesting.
What were some standout games for you from the showcases that have been recently shown, whether it's Xbox, Summer Game Fest?
Wait, showcases as in like your podcast showcases, or like?
Oh Lord! Oh
No.
My goodness!
No.
I'm talking about video game showcases.
Oh no, absolutely not. You have I'm here for just like shits and giggles and like.
Lord help me. Oh my goodness. So do you have any games that you're looking forward to? Because that's pretty interesting. You're like many people, honestly, that just don't really care about the showcases until, you know, if a game drops, then it's like, okay, I'll look at it now. But as for showcases, like I'm a nerd, I guess, and many other people within this chat can say the same thing. Like when there's something being talked about, oh, there's a game that's coming out and they're gonna show 2 minutes of it, like I'm marking it on the calendar and shit like that. Oh yeah, I'm excited. So I want to know, from somebody that's not following so closely, do you happen to have any games that you've heard of recently that you're kind of looked at more than once, that you're kind of interested in?
The only one that I like got excited about was that Fall Guys was coming to cross platforms.
Oh Lord.
Other than that, I'm more of like, when people say it in the chat and they're like, hey, check out this new game, I'm like, oh yeah, dope, all right, I'll go check it out. Like, if it's hot, it's
Commander,
hot.
We've got a problem.
That's it.
So once again, same answer, different question. Don't give a damn. That's where we're at on that. That's where we're at on that one. Fantastic. And that's totally fine. You don't have to always be on top of it, but I mean, that Fall Guys game, like I said, it's pretty fun. It's only good for me for about an hour until I'm just like, all right, I need to go play a real game. You know what I'm saying?
A real game. Ooh.
I'm all about the little bits of slander, but But all right, so the most exciting game for the next year has already came out for you. Fantastic. So throughout all of gaming, I'm kind of curious for Kai Bergs, like I'm sure you've seen enough crazy stuff on Twitter of people talking one way or another. And I mean, you don't even have to see it on Twitter. You can see it on Facebook. You see it on YouTube. You can see crazy people out of pocket saying stuff that is just inappropriate almost anywhere nowadays. It's kind of the culture that the world is in right now. And I'm kind of curious about gaming in specific. Like, what about it frustrates you, if anything at all? I'm sure you stay in your own lane, but I kind of want to know if there was something that you could point out and be like, you know what, this is annoying. What would it be?
This is annoying. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, Ham Solo. I just don't fuck with it.
There it is. Another don't give a fuck. Just tally number 3 right there.
I'd say she's just a meh. Yeah, I mean.
You see that, Sensei? She's watching you right now.
Yeah, where's the party games? I mean, this world is crazy as it is. If you're talking just in general, I try not to get too heavily into it, and like, 'cause it's just depressing, you know? That's some depressing shit out there, just in general. So like after COVID happened, I was like, nah, forget all the news. I'm not looking or watching nothing. Anything that people are talking about, like I'm on social media, but I don't let it like really. I kind of just skim past it. Like, okay.
Fair enough. And Mr. Inferno in the chat says, I'm canceled for the Fall Guys slander. I tell you what, Mr. Inferno, hit me back up in 1 year from now and tell me how Fall Guys is doing with this, community of people that like to hop in something real quick because it's cool for 2 seconds. I at least got Kai Bergs here that's like, yo, I play Fortnite and like Fall Guys and stuff like that. I believe that she plays those games because she only plays, from what I think, a limited amount of games. She only kind of cares about to hop into regularly. But as for most of the community that I see on Twitter, I think that a lot of people are playing games like Fall Guys and stuff like that just for the moment. And after another, and I feel the same about Naraka. No hate to Too Big, because I'm sure he's getting hot right now hearing me say that. I feel the same about Naraka, though. I feel like some people are just hopping in this. They're going to play it for a month until the hype goes down and people aren't talking about it on Twitter anymore. Then they're going to be hopping right out or on to the next free-to-play game. There are very few people like Kai Bergs with like Fortnite, Fall Guys, and Too Big with Naraka. And I should say K Mega as well, because I can tell he really enjoys that game. But there are a few people that I think that are really committed to these games that they announce that they're playing every time a new game comes out. Do you kind of see what I'm saying at all? She says yes with just her head.
Oh, me? Yeah.
Who else am I talking to?
Just talking to the chat.
Oh man, fuck the chat. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I love the chat. Don't go nowhere,
No,
y'all.
I was laughing because I was like, freaking, I just saw Bango Mango guys on Discord and they were like, oh yeah, go download Naraka. And I was like, I did it. So when you was talking about that, I was like, yeah. I haven't even touched that game yet.
Man, I already got some hate mail coming into the chat. He said, watch your snot box about Naraka. I mean, you ain't gotta label it so nasty like that, bro. You can just say watch your mouth, but you said the snot box.
Damn.
Too Big said I go hard with Naraka. I know, Too Big, you've been playing that game before anybody was even really talking about it. You've been on that game in Asia, killing a bunch of people that you like to talk about. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But anyways, so no fucks given at all about what frustrates you in gaming. It just kind of is what it is for you, and you just kind of stay in your lane with that.
I was thinking about it.
Okay.
What frustrates me in gaming is the lack of communication with teammates.
Well, I did say it could be anything. I like that. Do the damn objective.
Did you see him? Did you not see him? Did you see him or not? No? Look on your map. Maybe I'm going a little too sensitive on this one with the whole... Because I saw Sensei was like, cough, cough, speed angel.
I can feel the emotion kind of pouring out as you think about that question.
It's just happened yesterday.
This is a fresh wound. It's a fresh ass wound. Got it. All right. So on the flip side of that, I'm kind of curious what a dream come true in gaming could be. And this could be anything. So like you want Dreamcast to come back and make a new console, or you want to, be able to get a Steam Deck for $100 or like just any kind of dream that you could possibly think of for gaming. What would you like yours to be?
For gaming?
Oh, Lord.
Honestly though, VR, those VRs, you know how they play?
Mm-hmm.
They got the VRs. I've always wanted to try and grab one of those to play that. There's that one game, the lightsaber sticks.
Beat Saber.
Yeah, or just any game in VR. They make it
that's
look
your
so
dream. That's your dream. My dream is to play. My dream is to play Beat Saber.
Yeah. Listen, it's come to the stream. It's always like this. You get this all the time.
Yep. Kyberg's on Twitch. Plug. There it is. So, a fun thing I need to know about you that nobody really knows. You don't have to say anything wild. Now, if you want to, I'm not here to say anything, but what's something that, and this doesn't have to do with gaming at all. This is more or less on a personal level for people watching that maybe want to know a little bit more about you. What's something comfortable that you'd be willing to share?
A lot of people don't know that I sing and play guitar.
Oh.
As like a side hobby. Yeah. That, and I also have my own business, like making.
You're a business owner too. Wow. Living the life over there, La Vita Loca. Got your own. Yeah, she's independent, fellas. Independent. So leave her alone.
Leave me alone. You said it perfectly right there. She's a no fucks given, leave me alone type.
I know. This is getting all summed up right now. She doesn't give a fuck. She wants to be left alone. I'm like, it is what it is. Her dream is to play Beat Saber.
I still want to put out that coming vibe, like come to the chat, hang out, but like other than that, yeah. No fucks given.
That is very Hawaiian of you to say. Very much so. Just don't care, good vibes, no fucks. I dream to get a VR headset shipped to me from the mainland. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. So whether you have any or not, just let me know. Do you happen to have any questions for me at all? Recent ones that I've answered have been like, how'd you get into podcasting and stuff like that. Do you have anything random that you want to ask me while I'm here with you?
Do you have like a hidden talent?
A hidden talent?
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be hidden after you say it, but like, do you have a talent?
Damn. She comes on my podcast and says, "You got any talent?" Man, you cold. You cold for that one. All right. All right. So one talent that I haven't got to use in quite some time that I thoroughly enjoy doing is flying in the wind. So I used to be an indoor skydiving instructor. I used to teach people how to skydive, but indoors. So like if you came to my facility, I would show you how to use your body in the wind. So when you actually go to jump out of a plane, you know exactly what you need to do to either be safe, or if you're trying to learn tricks on how to do stuff, like I'm your guy. Like I was able to teach people how to do that stuff. So if you guys see like the intro of my show, you'll see random pieces and clips of me actually flying in the wind. So I'm doing all these tricks upside down, doing these barrel rolls and stuff like that. And you wouldn't think a guy that's almost freaking like, that's like 270 pounds. Yes, the wind could hold me. For you assholes that want to ask that questions out there. Yes, I could fly in that wind with my big ass. Yes, I could.
You sliced that wind.
Oh yeah. I was cutting it like a knife. It was just so good. But I'm actually really good at it. I worked for iFly Indoor Skydiving for 5+ years. Wow. I learned from some of the best instructors and coaches in skydiving in general. From some of the people that won, like nationals or even international competitions. I was getting trained by some of those people. So it was fantastic learning that stuff and being able to pass it off to all different sorts of people throughout my tenure of working there. So that would be probably the hidden talent for me that a lot of people don't know about. I love to fly. I've only skydived like, I want to say 6 times. I'm not really into the whole jumping out of the actual plane part. I'm not scared of it by any means. I've like I said, I've done it multiple times. It's just I'm not going to pay. At that point, at least, I was thinking I'm not going to pay like hundreds of dollars to do what I can do for free at work. You know what I mean? I just didn't get that.
That's cool.
And the parachute ride used to fuck my nuts up. I did not like that shit at all. Like, because like with a parachute,
I was waiting for something along the suit wise.
I mean, I'm a big guy. I'm still a big fucking guy. So that parachute was breathing hard. That shit
it was yelling
working.
at the plane. It was like, hell.
Yeah.
It was like, get me a parachute to parachute.
Yeah, facts. It was what it was. But yeah, that shit, like when the parachute comes out and you kind of like have that like sensation of like falling into the, or like not falling into the parachute, but like the parachute kind of catching you and grabbing you, it would just yank right on my midsection, and it
would really just catch you, yeah.
It really did catch me, and it didn't catch me slipping though.
No.
But that whole like 3 to 5 minute ride down with the parachute was just terrible. Like I just didn't enjoy it at all. I was only there for the free falling part, so I could do like barrel rolls, flips, twists, all that kind of stuff. It was fantastic. Any other questions at all?
Do you like, what do you do outside? Is that your job outside of like podcasts and like streaming?
It was until I hurt my back doing it. So like, I didn't hurt my back flying. I hurt my back holding on to customers. So a lot of people are like, you obviously hurt yourself. You're flying. And I'm like, no, I didn't actually hurt myself flying. The flying was the easy part. The holding on to damn near 280, 300-pound people that are squirming like a kid in the wind. And I literally have to hold on to them so they don't drive themselves in the wall and kill themselves or like really injure themselves. Yeah, that's the part that hurt me because I'm sitting there like holding on to somebody and they're like moving like crazy, and then
So
I
you're
let
like
them out.
your back out.
Yeah, so you got to imagine I'm holding somebody, they're freaking out, they're sometimes even bigger than me, and I'm working against the wind, which could be going anywhere between 70 to like 140 miles an hour. And I'm standing in there trying to balance myself, keep us both balanced and safe, and it beat the living hell out of my body. So my back is like currently I have back spurs in there on the lower end of my back, and after like an hour of doing any kind of labor, like I get super tired, and like my back just starts to hurt to the point where I'm worried if like I screwed up my back for like the next month or something like that. So I was really nervous, and I'm working with all that stuff on the side right now. But yeah, pretty nuts. But hey, this was a really fun time that I had with you today. We got a lot of things that we got to talk about. I only have two more things that I want to ask you before we get out of here. And one of those things, let me go on ahead and look up on my sheet of questions because I don't remember because it's kind of a newer one. What's the wildest thing that you've ever done for gaming or with gaming or on stream or something like that?
The wildest thing I've ever done?
Yeah, like was it somebody else's turn after you died and you just hit them upside the head with the controller and kept playing or something like that? Like what's for me personally, the wildest thing I've ever done in gaming at all was I named my daughter after one of my first profile names for gaming.
What?
Her name is Rain, and my old profile used to be Rain95.
Cute. That's cute.
I guess.
The fuck's given.
None.
The only thing I can think of is like when I first started getting into gaming was the first time I experienced rage. And I don't know what it is about freaking Knockout City, the dodgeball game. But I'll tell you right now, that game gets me from 0 to 100 in a freaking heartbeat. If you've ever, I hardly stream that game now because that's how bad I am when I'm playing it.
You're just raging?
It's like, you guys think, that playing Fortnite with Speed Angel and the way I chew him out on Fortnite is bad. I tell him all the time, dude, don't play Knockout City with me. But bless his heart, he comes on anyway, and he just gets freaking everything. Like, the rage is bad. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I was playing that game one day, and I got so upset. I had a ball in my hand, and I like tried to throw it at the ground, and I freaking threw it on, like, it just hit the corner of my desk and bounced right into my freaking screen and broke it. Shattered it. And I was like, it was my brother's. It was a curved screen. It was still intact. It was nice. And it cracked, and I was like shook. I went from rage to like crap. I was like, no. How am I gonna stream? How am I gonna get the funds to get a new monitor? Like, the monitor was destroyed, and that's like the biggest thing. I told myself no more throwing shit when I rage. If I'm gonna rage, I'm gonna just not have anything in reach to whip at my desk. That was the first time I ever experienced getting to that level of rage where I threw something and I didn't even intentionally mean to hit my freaking desk. I was aiming for the floor and it went right into it. And I was like, all right, I see you. You're trying to teach me a lesson.
Yeah. You tried to fuck one thing up and you done fucked up everything.
Yeah, I was like, damn, this is the one thing I did not want to happen. My heart broke and my wallet broke that day.
It's an animal wallet.
I booked it so fast down to the nearest Costco to go get a new monitor. I was like, I need to get something because I need to start streaming again. So,
Yeah, don't do that again.
yeah, no,
we not do that again. All right, so the very last thing I got for you, and let's see, I'm gonna look at the chat real quick. Oh, Too Big said you can cook as well. Sensei said you do some doodling, do a little bit of drawing. So
kind of do a little bit of everything under the sun, you know.
And then Sensei said that harness be squeezing nuts. I mean, he ain't lying. Oh man. All right. I ain't gonna read all that. But anyways, so the very last thing I'm gonna have you do before we get up out of here, because it's been a pleasure, but we need to get back to gaming, or at least I need to. I want you to describe gaming in just 3 words.
Like, does it have to be a sentence or just 3 words?
Just 3 words. It can run together, but it doesn't have to.
Okay. Let's see. Raging.
Oh, goodness.
Laughter. Community.
Wow.
I like how you put raging first. Like that's the most important part.
Yeah.
If you ain't raging, you're not a real gamer.
If you're not raging, are you really having fun?
Facts. All right. Well, Kai Bergs, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you for setting out some time. I know it's much earlier in Hawaii than it is here, so I was a little nervous when asking you to hop on because I was like, man, I'm not sure. I mean, some people are busy around 4 o'clock and stuff like that. Yeah. But I really appreciate your time being on here. You had a wonderful story of your own. You definitely seem like you've, done these kind of one-on-ones before, so definitely don't shy away from that in the future if anybody asks you to be on a podcast, because you were really smooth on here, and it was nice. I had a good time.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I really do.
Yeah. We'll definitely have to get Speedy on here as well, because I told him that I wanted to have him on the podcast too. So be on the lookout for that within the next month. As for this podcast, I appreciate you guys there in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you enjoy this type of content, and share this out so many other gamers within our community can see these awesome people that, do content creation, game, or, develop and work on games and stuff like that. So definitely stick around for some more content coming in the future. I will see you back here on Thursday. I have a person from ID at Xbox coming on. Pretty excited about that one. Right around the corner. Let me see. I'm pulling them up right now. Anyways, yeah, I'll just post it on Twitter. So if you guys follow me there, follow me at HamSolo05 Gaming, and you will definitely see the next person that I decide to be on. Oh, it's Glenn at ID at Xbox. He goes by at Trip Lizard. So definitely look him up if you're kind of curious who he is and whatnot, and you want to kind of get a little bit of backstory before we actually have our interview. And then on Friday, catch me with Loke7 and Cozy Beluga, who knows what the hell she's eating. I think she said, because, all right, yeah. Now, hear me out real quick. So this girl, Cozy Beluga, really dope individual as well. I've had her on the show in the past. She is, really different. She's a gamer. She enjoys Switch, Xbox. She really just enjoys gaming in general, PC as well. But the food that she randomly brings onto the show is weird. She's had pig's feet on the show, and like she opened the can, spilled some on herself, and then started like frowning super hard, and then grabbed a bowl out of nowhere and just dumped it in the bowl. And I could smell the vinegar through my headset. It was disgusting looking. And then she ate some canned bread a few weeks after that. Canned bread, yes.
Bread?
Yeah. I'm sure it's next to the corned beef y'all keep behind the counter next to the cigarettes, right? But anyways,
I'm sorry, what is her name again?
But this week, I guess she said she's having pickled watermelon potato salad. I don't even know what the fuck that means. But okay, we will see what that's all about. But anyways, I appreciate you guys so much for being around. We will see you either Thursday, Friday, or the next time you have time to be in the podcast. Oh, Lord, Mr. Inferno said I pray for her. Fantastic. Anyways, see you later, you guys. Have a good night. See you soon. Welcome to the Behind Them Sticks podcast, brought to you by TSWS Game.
Come and talk to me, Lennard Ray. Come on. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. Listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you. If you quit playing, won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it. Boosie, I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor, and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet, and I need some seconds. You say you had promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it.